So let's all take a breath together as we move into this part of our service. This month we're talking about let there be peace on earth. That's our theme this month. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth. And let it begin with me. Last week, I asked all of you, I challenged all of you to make a 100% commitment to peace this month. And if we were in the sanctuary, I'd be asking for a show of hands of how many people made a 100% commitment to peace this past week. I received a text from someone who sent me a picture of their commitment to peace by putting a Post-it note on their workstation, 100% committed to peace. And I love it. I love it. That's a great idea. That's a great thing for us to do. Just have little notes around that we are 100% committed to peace, because, you know, it's easy to forget that. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in our lives. There's so much going on around us that it's easy to lapse into things that are not of peace and that do not bring us to that place of peace. And so when we put little reminders around that we are 100% committed to peace, then I think it's a wonderful thing for us to do. And so let's just keep in mind that let there be peace on earth, let it begin with me, is what we're doing this month. Let it begin with me. And the song toward the end says, let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And so that's what I'm encouraging all month. I'm encouraging us to really be in that place of peace. And today I'm talking about dare to believe. Dare to believe. And the first thing I want you to dare to believe that peace is possible. Dare to believe that peace is possible in each of our lives. Dare to believe that peace is possible in the world. Dare to believe that peace can begin with each one of us. That's the important thing. No matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on in our lives, no matter what the facts may be, peace is possible. Dare to believe that peace is possible. And you know, when we dare to believe, our path is defined by possibilities. When we dare to believe, our path is defined by possibilities. Our path is defined by possibilities when we dare to believe. Keep in mind that it is done unto us as we believe. That was the basic teaching of the master teacher, Jesus. It is done unto you as you believe. It is done unto you as you believe. So saying that our path is defined by possibilities when we dare to believe, be mindful of what you believe. Be mindful of what you're believing, because the possibility exists of that being what is done unto you, what you're believing. It works both ways, whether what you're believing is so-called positive or whether it's so-called negative, whether it's what you want or whether it's what you don't want. The law works the same. It is done unto you as you believe. So be mindful of what you're believing. Be mindful of what you're believing in. And so I'm asking you today to just be really aware. Be really aware of what you're believing. And you know, Ernest Holmes says in the reading that Peter read, that if your thoughts of a specific way of thoughts and beliefs have provided limitations, then other thoughts and beliefs can change them. If specific way that you've been thinking and that you've been believing have provided limitations, then other thoughts and other beliefs can change that. And so just that brings me to our basic teaching. Dare to believe that change your thinking, change your life. Dare to believe that changing your thinking and changing your life makes a difference. Dare to believe that changing your thinking can change your life. It can change your life. Because once we change our thinking, then we start to change our beliefs. And when we change our beliefs, then we begin to experience. We begin to experience that which we desire. If that's where our beliefs are, when we have our beliefs focused on what it is we desire, then that is what becomes our experience in our world. Let's take a breath together. You know, there's so much talk today, and it is wonderful that there's a vaccine. It is wonderful that there's hope on the horizon. It's wonderful that there's a possibility existing of this pandemic being being over, being managed, being managed to the point where we can get beyond it. But you know, there have been so many predictions and so much talk over the last few days about the dark days ahead, about how much darkness there is ahead. And even as the medical professionals and the media talk about the the wonderful thing of the vaccines that are here, there's also talk about the darkness. And so, what I'm asking you to do, and what I'm asking all of us to do, is to dare to believe in the light. Dare to believe in the light. Dare to believe in the light. Because that power and that presence of God, that allness that is the light. Ernest Holmes says that when your consciousness is when you have the consciousness of the presence of God within, then your consciousness of the presence of God within, like light, can dissipate the darkness. Your consciousness of the presence of God within, like light, will dissipate the consciousness. Your consciousness of the presence of God within, like light, will dissipate the darkness. And so I'm asking us to dare to believe in the light. I don't care how dark someone says the days ahead will be, how dark the talk is, how dark the consciousness, the race conscious belief is. That has nothing to do with our own consciousness of the presence of God within each one of us is like light, and it will dissipate the darkness. Our experience of the world can be different. Our experience of life can be different. Our experience of this time that we are going through can be different because our consciousness of the presence of God within dissipates that darkness. So we have to dare to believe in the light. We have to dare to believe that we are surrounded by the light, for the light is the light of God. God is light itself. And when we believe and when we are aware and when our consciousness is of the presence of God, that light within us, then the darkness is dissipated. And so we don't have to buy into the things that we hear. We don't have to buy into the things that other people talk about. We don't have to buy into others' beliefs. We dare to believe. We dare to believe. We dare to believe that God is all there is. We dare to believe that power and that presence is right here, right now, right where we are. We dare to believe that it is always right where we are. We dare to believe in the possibility of walking forward in peace, in harmony, in safety and protection. We dare to believe that we are completely surrounded by this light always, always, always. And so this is what happens when we really are committed to 100% committed to peace, because we're in that place of peace. Then we can start to think of the light. We can start to open ourselves so that we can be in the light and of the light, in the light and of the light. And we are completely surrounded by it, completely indwelled by it always. So no matter what's being said, no matter what's being predicted, no matter how dire things may sound, dare to believe in the truth. Dare to believe in the truth. And that's not to say that we are to dispute the facts, that we are to ignore the facts, that we are to not recognize that there are facts, because we do live in a world of facts, as I always say. And we dare to believe the truth. We dare to believe the teachings that we know, the teachings of truth that we know. We dare to walk forward in the truth that we know, holding steadfast that to the awareness and to the truth that God is all there is, and God is right here, right now, right where we are, in the midst of everything that's going on, in the midst of everything that's going on, in the midst of everything that's going on. And as we keep on this awareness, as we keep in this awareness, as we walk forward in this awareness, then we can just breathe a sigh of relief. We can breathe a sigh of release. We can breathe a sigh of release and relief, because we know that we are in that place of alignment with the all that is. We're in that place of alignment with the all that is. We're in that place of alignment with all that is. And when we're in that place, then we get to experience the peace that passes human understanding. We get to experience that peace that is. We get to experience that peace that is always possible. And so this is what I'm asking you to do. Dare to believe that peace is possible and then live like that. Dare to believe, not only make your commitment to 100% commitment to peace, but dare to believe in your commitment. Dare to believe in your commitment. Live that commitment each and every moment of each and every day. Dare to believe that peace is possible in your life as your life. Dare to believe also that we are right where we are supposed to be, right here and right now. We're right where we're supposed to be. Even if it's not where you want to be, we're right where we're supposed to be. And dare to believe that God has a vision for our lives. So if we are anchored in that one power, in that one presence, in our oneness, in our unity with the all that is, then and open up, then God's vision can be revealed to and through and as our lives and unfold as our lives. When we dare to believe that there is a vision for our lives, and the vision includes change, and the visions may include going through that vision, getting to that vision being revealed through us, brings us into all kinds of situations, brings us into all kinds of places that we don't know about, brings us into all kinds of changes that we didn't plan for ourselves, that we may not be very happy with. And we continue to put one foot in front of the other, knowing this is where I'm supposed to be and I'm walking through this, being here at this time, being here in this place. And we go through it the same way we walk, by putting one foot in front of the other. I don't care how fast we walk, we still have to take one step after another step, after another step, after another step. And that's how we get through this time. We take one step after another step, after another step. We don't try to bypass, we don't try to jump over, we don't try to pretend it doesn't exist, we don't try to do any of that, because all that does is creates a lot of baggage for us to have to work through, to have to get over at some point in the future. Right now, we want to deal with whatever is coming up for us, whatever our experience is right now. Dare to believe that we're moving through that. Dare to believe that the power and the presence of God is right with you as you're going through this right here and right now. Dare to believe that we're not walking through this time alone. Dare to believe that we are in the light and of the light and walking through it, anchored in peace, anchored in the peace that is, anchored in the love that is, anchored in the qualities of God that are always right where we are. And knowing that whatever our experience, whatever is going on, that we can always examine our thinking and examine our beliefs and change them. When we see things that we don't like, when we are experiencing things that we don't like, always examining our thinking. Because when we change our thinking, we change our lives. When we change our thinking, we change our lives, because our thinking takes us into our beliefs. And when we change our beliefs, we change our lives. And so dare to believe that we can do these things. Dare to believe that we're on the right path. Dare to believe in all the possibilities that are ahead of us. Dare to believe, again, as I said, in the vision that God has for our lives, and that there is a vision, and that we can live that vision easily and effortlessly when we are guided by that divine power and that divine presence that is within us. It is so important for us to do that. It is so important for us to do that. Let's take a breath. Dare to believe in our spiritual practice, the importance of our spiritual practice. Dare to believe in the importance of being anchored in that power and that presence. And the way that we do that is through the practice and the practices, that we do daily, that we do constantly, that we do to bring us into alignment with the all that is. And dare to believe in the necessity of that, the importance of that. And then to do that, not only believe in it, but actually do it. You know, I said some months ago, we talked about a couple of months ago about the 10 golden minutes. And sometimes people will text me or call me and email me and say that they're doing the 10 golden minutes. I invite you, start your day with half of those 10 golden minutes. The 10 golden minutes are 5 minutes in the morning, as soon as you open your eyes, before you roll over, before you do anything, acknowledge the power and the presence of God. Acknowledge that God is all there is. Acknowledge that there's but one power and one presence. That is God. And that is my life. That is my life right here and right now. Acknowledge that power. Acknowledge that presence. And say thank you. And then go about your day. You can state an affirmation for how your day will be. I know that everything will be working together for good in this day, working together for my good this day. There's only one power. There's only one presence. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And I know that everything is working together for good in my life this day. And then dare to believe that as you're saying it. Dare to believe it as you're saying it. And then the other 5 minutes is the last 5 minutes at night before falling off to sleep. Same thing. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. And I know that everything unfolded perfectly in my life this day. Everything unfolded perfectly in my life this day. Dare to believe that that works. Dare to believe that that works. And you know how you really find out whether it works? By doing it. You really find out that it works by doing it, by actually doing it. And I'm inviting you, make this a part of your regular practice, along with all the other practices that we have, along with the affirmations that we use. That's how we change our thoughts. That's how we change our beliefs. By if we've been experiencing lack and limitation, then our affirmation has to change our thoughts up to abundance, to prosperity, to more, to the allness and the fullness of God. And so if you've been thinking limitation, you've been thinking lack, then think abundance, think prosperity, think more, think that all that the Father hath is mine, think that God is abundance itself. And then dare to believe that. Dare to believe that. And I get really excited when I talk about daring to believe, because it's exciting to me. Dare to believe. Dare to believe. And you know, going through the times that we're going through now, sometimes it may feel a little difficult to believe. It may feel a little difficult to believe sometimes. I'm inviting you to dare to believe. Dare means having the courage or the confidence to do that which you're afraid to do, or do that which you wouldn't ordinarily do. Dare to believe. Dare to believe something different. Dare to believe something different. Dare to believe that, yes, we do live in a world of facts, and yes, there is the truth, and yes, we can live anchored in that truth and walk forward into a different life, even in the midst of the things that are going on now. As we come upon this Christmas holiday season, well, we're already in that season. It's going to be different than any year we've had before. It's going to be different. It's already different. Dare to believe that we can really have a wonderful Christmas season, even without things being the way that they've always been, even with things being different, even with things being new, because you know, this change that we're going through, as I said, is a part of God's vision for our lives. It's a part of God's vision. God already knows about the things that we're going through. God already knows about this pandemic. God already knows about sheltering in place. God already knows that we're doing all this stuff. I mean, that's all already known in the mind of God. And so what we do is find a way to walk through it with ease and with grace, and finding a different way of celebrating, finding a different way of opening our hearts, finding a different way of moving into what we call that Christmas spirit, finding a different way of celebrating the Christ consciousness. And we do that by opening our own consciousness, releasing those things that would be inconsistent with the Christ consciousness, releasing and letting go of those things that would block us from being a part of that Christ consciousness. And so this is a wonderful time for us to be innovative. This is a wonderful time for us to open up and allow divine creativity to just flow through us. This is a wonderful time to just allow that power and that presence of God to have full sway in our lives, and dare to believe that it can, to the degree that we open up. Dare to believe in the power of yes, the power of yes, and then start to say yes over and over and over again. Start to say yes. Start to say yes to life. Start to say yes to God. Start to say yes to the unknown. And then take a breath and allow that yes to unfold. Take a breath and allow that yes to unfold. I am so happy that I said yes to CLF. I'm so happy that I said yes to ministry, to having a church when I thought I didn't want one. I'm so happy that I said yes. And now I'm allowing that yes to unfold. And it's unfolding in a way I could never have imagined, in a way that I had no way of knowing. But God already knew exactly how this was to unfold. Already knew exactly how my life was to unfold, how Creative Living Fellowship was to unfold. And so I'm inviting you to dare to believe in the power of yes. Dare to believe that God already knows what it has for you to do following your yes. And so as we move through this season, say yes to the Christmas spirit. Say yes to the Christ consciousness. Say yes to the holiday time and the opportunity to do something different. Say yes to the possibilities of hearing Christmas music if you're sitting at home by yourself. Say yes to celebrating the holiday season when you have a Christmas tree and you're there alone. Last night when I was sitting and reading, I turned on a YouTube video. I usually have meditation music on, and I decided to play some piano Christmas music. And initially I thought, oh, my first thought was that I'm here by myself and the music is playing. And then I thought how wonderful this is, because they had scenes of a village with lights and snow, and then the Christmas music was playing. And it became so peaceful. It became the room, I could just feel the peace descending on the room, and it returned me to a place of peace. You know, peace doesn't come to us, we come to peace. And so I returned to a place of peace, just listening to the Christmas music and thinking, I think I'll put up a Christmas tree this year. All kinds of possibilities started to go through my head as I sat and listened to that soft music, familiar carols, all those things, and then started to sing along with them. And I thought, how wonderful this is, how different this is. Who would have thought I would spend the Christmas season this way? And usually I don't put up a Christmas tree, but I'm going to do that this year. Think about the possibilities. Think about the way that we can do things differently. Think about how our lives can unfold so magnificently when we dare to believe, when we dare to believe, when we dare to believe, when we dare to believe how our lives, our path is defined by possibilities. Dare to believe in the possibilities that are available to us as we align ourselves with the all that is. We align ourselves with the all that is. Dare to believe and trust in God as we go forward, one foot after another, one step at a time, knowing that peace is possible, and we are walking forward in that peace as we allow it to begin with us with our 100% commitment. Let's take a breath together and let's turn within for prayer as we just dare to believe and dare to know that there's but one life, there's but one power, there's but one presence, there's but one mind, there's but one breath, there's but one activity. There's but one life. There's but one. And that one I choose to call God. That one is my very life. That one is that from which I could never be separate. That one is the life of each of us. The life of each of us. That one is that from which none of us can ever be separate. It is everywhere present. There's not a spot where it is not. There's not a spot where it is not. And so knowing this truth, I speak the word this day for each of us. Just knowing that right where each of us is, God is, that we are each made in the image and likeness and out of pure spirit itself. And that all needs are met by this word that's being spoken here this day. All needs are met. All needs are met by that power and that presence that is within us, that is around us, that is everywhere present. I speak a word of wholeness. I speak a word of healing, just knowing that anyone who is affected by COVID or any other illness or disease, God is in the midst of everything, and healing is happening in body temples. Healing is happening in every organ, every cell, every tissue, every function of our body temples right here and right now. I know that for those who have lost loved ones to COVID or otherwise, that God is the great comforter, and that God is bringing comfort, and God is being comfort and support and completely surrounding each and every one of them with love and with light and with this presence. That radiant healing presence is right in the midst of everything that's going on in every life. And so I speak this word for all of us. I speak this word for this entire planet, for anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, no matter what's going on, knowing that God is in the midst of everything. And when God is in the midst, healing is happening. Healing is happening everywhere. And so we open up and just release and let go of the doubt, and we release and let go of the fear, and release and let go of the apparent darkness, for the light is in the midst of everything. And that's what I'm calling forth right here and right now. The light of God everywhere present, everywhere present. And so as I open the circle of prayer, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. And so for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is in the midst. God is right where each of them is, blessing and keeping them. Blessing and keeping, healing, being God in every situation, every circumstance. And as I said, this prayer goes out to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, for God is in the midst of everything. And I know indeed that all is well, for I know absolutely that all is God. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, for the blessing of this time, for the healing that has already taken place, for the perfect manifestation of this word. I give great, great thanks. I simply allow it to be now. And so it is.